Out of all the topics I'm talking about, this is probably the one that I wanted to talk about the least, as it's very intimate to me. There's a lot of videos out there talking about all the perks of being a disabled veteran, but there's a dark side as well. Today, I give you the dirty little secrets about being a 100% disabled veteran. When my rating came down August 14th, 2020, my wife and I was very happy about being 100%, as this opened up the door for us in many ways. First of which, it gave us all of our medical covered, both myself and my wife. And we had a brief moment of celebration before I fell into depression. I'll dive into why I fell into depression here in a second. But I wanted to express what happened afterwards. I didn't really talk about this much to most people. And when people would ask me what I would do, I would dive into my business, how I used to play poker for a living. I would talk about the freedom that my wife and I had cultivated and how we were traveling the world and starting my YouTube channel. Very rarely would I talk about being a disabled veteran. It wasn't until months later when I started talking about this and sharing this with other veterans that I realized that many of them were also 100% disabled themselves. And they had been for years, although they weren't talking about it. And I started asking, why don't you? Why don't you? Why is this thing so hard to share? We were getting a lot of the same responses, and here's what they were. One, fear of judgment, fear of how other people are going to look at them, fear of criticism, fear of looking like we're beating the system or being bags, and fear of it looking like welfare. Basically, what it went down to is fear of judgment. If you dive under the fear itself, what you're going to come to is shame. Why is it that we feel shame around being a disabled veteran? I started diving in this further with myself, and what I was finding was, one, I didn't identify with being disabled. So when this rating came down, I was given this label, this tag that didn't fit me, something that I never identified with. Second was with the PTSD label or crazy label. That was also one that I resisted. And another reason why I waited 13 freaking years to actually get the help that I knew was there for me the entire time. And this is the biggest one. The fear of being labeled a bag or someone who takes advantage of the system, welfare. I'm definitely going to dive into that one here in a second. When I started dissecting, where was that coming from? In basic training, we were taught pretty much to not go to sick call unless you absolutely had to, because you didn't want to be one of those people that abuse the system. You would be labeled a bag. Now, those people do exist. They are bags for real, but the blanket statement didn't really apply. And many of us would push through pain and injury just to not get labeled a bag by our peers and subordinates alike. Not only was that label bad when it came to how people perceived you, but you would also get passed over on promotion. This fear of judgment stuck with me a long time too. Matter of fact, I used to be on the other side of that. I had some friends who were courageous enough to tell me about their benefits, and I secretly judged them for it, not willing to take things on their own shoulders or handle issues themselves. It wasn't until years later when my marriage was falling apart, I decided to actually go and be truthful about things that were showing up in my life. Things from the military and even before the military that was showing up in my marriage and actually keeping me from being able to connect with my wife. In this process, I actually allowed myself to start getting help. It took 13 years for me to realize it was me the whole time that was getting in the way, that was actually getting in the way of me and my ego allowing for me to get the help that I needed. This video is very tough for me because I know that there's other veterans out there who are viewing me the same way that I viewed other veterans. I know that the judgment's gonna be there. Maybe this video, if I had seen it 13 years ago, it could have helped me get out of my own way. I guess that's my goal for this video, is to help other veterans see that the help is there. And if they're able to get out of their own way, not only will it make an impact in their life when it comes to the medical side, but there's a financial compensation side too that can assist with your lifestyle. Back to that tag of being disabled. I personally do not identify with it. I identify with being enabled. My wife and I had already cultivated a lifestyle that had freedom to it. This just enhanced our freedom. That's another thing, is I really want this to enable your lifestyle as well. One, the benefits are there, they're awesome, and they're for the rest of your life. It's tax-free money on the compensation side that can really help change things for you. It's not a lot of money. You're not gonna be rich from the compensation side itself. But it can free up some things for you to cultivate more. And that's what I really want to talk about here. This compensation can really do two things. It can enhance your lifestyle and really provide a platform for freedom and help you build upon it, or it can be a prison. Sadly, with a lot of veterans, what I see is it become a prison and actually keep them small. How we can start breaking this is one, talking about it. I want to talk about my friend who actually helped assist me, push me in the direction of getting benefits for myself. He had told me after the fact that he finally started talking about this with random people. He said that he had spoke with some girl about it for the first time and was honest about his benefits. Before, he used to always say that he was retired from the military, which was not true. I had other friends who would lie about what they did for a living. And where is that coming from? It's coming from a place of shame. It's coming from a place of feeling shameful about accepting the benefits that are there. I was no different. When the rating came down for the first couple months, once again, I would talk about my businesses. I would talk about my poker background. I would talk about everything except for the VA benefits. And I realized when I did, I felt a little bit weird about it. If you are not talking about this, this could be a sign that this is a prison for you and not something that enables your freedom. If it's something that you feel shameful about, I challenge you to start talking about it. Here's another reason why. There are veterans out there that don't even know that these benefits are there at their fingertips. I had so many friends who had been collecting that I didn't even know about. Who knows, maybe their story could have helped propel me to get these benefits years before I actually did. Circle back to the welfare side. This is not welfare. You paid with sweat equity in advance. You're not just looking for a handout from the government, although this can turn into welfare if you allow for it to be. At the end of the day, it's just benefits. What you do with them, that's what gives them meaning. Money is just paper. It's what people do with it, how they spend it, how they invest it, which actually gives it meaning itself. What are you doing with yours? Are you living within it? Is it a prison cell that you live in the confines of and don't talk about? Are you making up stories? Are you genuine with other people about where your money comes from? Also, is it allowing you something to build on? These benefits that we have are amazing in the sense that it really gives us an edge that the common civilian does not have. Are you using it in your favor? Are you cultivating more from the benefits itself? At the end of the day, you're the one that gives it its definition. Does it own you or do you own it? This video was not easy for me to shoot. I stuttered all over it. I feel very exposed in this moment. And if that's something that you can appreciate, hit the like button. This is going to help other veterans like you and me see this video. And who knows, this could even provide their freedom and help them speak out about it. Or it can help them take their first couple steps to getting those benefits for themselves. Don't let your ego get in the way of your own freedom. These benefits are here for you. Also, on the flip side, don't allow for your ego to keep you playing small. Make the best out of these benefits that you have at your fingertips. Much love. Till next time.